I'm in the process of commuting to school, and I just got a download that I felt that I have to share right now. It's about the individualization, compartmentalization, and all of that within the society that we live in, how it relates to our bodies and our finances as well. So we live in a world that compartmentalizes and says, well, if I poison the waters, the animals will be fine. Oh, if I beat the animals, kick them and stress them out, the people who eat them will be fine. If I chop down the trees, the planet will be fine. So like if I do X over here, YZ over there will be fine. You all remember my health journey that I just went on, or I'm still on, and I'm learning a lot about the kidney. And I realized that the kidney affects the hormonal balance in your body. Not only does it clean out the blood and excuse me, it's early, it's cold. Not only does it clean out the blood and also filter urine, but it also has all of these other functions that we don't consider. So we think, oh, if XYZ happens in this part of my body, the other part of the body will be fine. This is why and how you see these 50-year-old men, I got a few more minutes. These 50-year-old men with ED and all different types of issues, foot blackened and ready to cut off, and all of these other things, because we compartmentalize, oh, I can eat this and I don't have to work out that, or I could work out and continue to eat X, or I could eat X but then don't work out, and all of these things just into little segments, and we don't see it as a whole. Like older, more indigenous societies had a more holistic view about who we are, why we're on earth, circle of life. This is why when certain religions came in, they demonized paganism, because paganism had a connection to the earth and the people and the land and the animals, right? This other train is leaving, 1 second. Yesterday, I was in my video comments, and I'll wait for this train to fully pull out. Yesterday, I was in my video comments, and there was a guy who was talking to women and was like, don't go into debt for this event, talking about the New Self event that I'm doing in December, right? And so we got into a back and forth conversation where I was really trying to explain that all of these things are connected, like lack of finances, lack of abundance, all of these things go hand in hand with other things that are off kilter on the inside. It's almost time for me to jump out of here, that are off kilter on the inside, so that when there are deficits that we have inside, like I was writing, like the same mind that created the problem is not going to be the same mind that gets out of the problem. When we have these deficits in certain parts of us, it manifests in other parts. Emotional issues, dis-ease in the body, lack, poverty mindset, and where that comes from, and the lack that exists, the way that we do things, our habits, our patterns, our mindset. Because if we think that investing in ourselves is somehow a debt and not an investment. In one of my responses, I talked about how in 2016, I lived in my car. And when I lived in my car, I was going through my life coaching training at that time. Why? Because I believed in myself. I put my car up as collateral for the loan that I took out for the life coaching course. Why? Because I knew that I would not stay where it was that I was forever. I knew that I would rise from there. I knew that there would be a brighter day, a better day. Another thing that I thought about when I thought about the compartmentalization, because I was listening to an audiobook that was talking about relationships and the ways that we're treated in relationships. So there are people who are like, oh, well, you know, I know he loves me even though he doesn't respect me. I know he loves me even though he treats me poorly. And we compartmentalize. And this is something that also happened in the recent election. There are people who are like, oh, I know that he's, let me wait for this to pass. Like, oh, I know that he's a liar. Oh, I know he may not seem that smart. Oh, I know he's lied in the past. Oh, I know he probably did this insurrection. Oh, I know he invited bad actors, right? And then we say, oh, but he must be, or he could be good in all these other areas. And we often do this with ourselves as well. Like when I went to that retreat, the weekend before last, there was a young lady who kind of barked at me because like I went out, like everybody was leaving, I went to go take pictures, and she kind of barked at me, and I was like, ooh, because she was in a in deep conversation, she was crying. I didn't know that because I tapped her on the shoulder to to take the photo, but when she turned around, she like kind of barked. And at the end of everything, she came and she was like, that's not me. And I was like, that is you, that's a part of you, and that's okay. Like I support people putting themselves first and putting their needs first and letting up, you know what I mean? Because that is a part. And I think we go into compartmentalizing ourselves, other people, and really fragmenting, thinking that this doesn't have an effect on that, or this is not that. And this is how we end up in abusive relationships with abusive governments, abusing our bodies and all of these other things, because we don't, abusing the planet, because we don't look at these things as a whole. And on that, hey, it's now 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm up working. I meant to get that video out while I was on campus, but I had to study and do a bunch of other things. And now I'm up in the middle of the night. I really love this time because everything is quiet everywhere. And I wanted to finish up my thought because when I was in the commuter rail, there were so many people that was around me listening to me. And so I wasn't really able to finish articulating my thought. I wanted to really hone in for you about systems. We are taught in our current society that so many different things are independent of one another, but there's an interconnectivity to everything, to life, to our place on the planet, to the cycle of our lives, to the people we have in it, to how we show up. And we seem to have a vested interest in feeling like this has nothing to do with that. And it does. Our mindset has to do with our bodies, our spiritual and emotional health, our physical health, the health of our relationships. And one thing that I wanted to really, really, really press upon you is when it comes to yourself, who it is that you are, and how we love to embrace the light side and deny the shadow and the darkness, but that is a part of us too. And the way that we end up getting fooled is we say, well, I know this person is a good person, even though some of the times they're violent or vile or whatever the case may be. And I need you to understand that when you can see all of the parts of yourself, you can see the parts of people. Stop making excuses. Yes, this is all of it is like every way that you show up is a part of you. And I'm glad I didn't put the video up because there was a comment that came in that I thought was very relevant. And the young lady says, I started with writing the words of your affirmation/hypnosis book back in 2020. It wasn't all I did, but it was the beginning that led to my first 6-figure month in February. I checked to see if I could make it to the NYC event, but have to be back in New Orleans by the 15th at 3 a.m. It's well worth the time to change from the inside out. And I have so much more I need to work on. Thank you for the work that you do. It's not wasted. And I'm telling you, so this is my book of affirmations right here. And I told people when I started doing those affirmations, things changed for me mentally, physically, financially. Like I started making more money. Like all of these things are connected. And it's like I'm trying to explain to the people on the post that when you have a certain mindset, it's like things are off balance in other areas as well. It's like this doesn't just show up independent of other things. So it's like, yeah, I can help you get, a sponsor to come to the event, but I'm noticing patterns. It's like I'm noticing that the deficit that exists where you don't have the money in the first place, there are deficits that are actually stopping you from taking full advantage of the things that are in front of you. I don't know how to put it more plainly without being insulting to the people who are in that journey. I'll just say that It's all connected. That's really, if you understand what I'm saying, just put it below.